The following case is about a child who describes vivid accounts of a past life. Elijah's father, Matthew Brown, said that when his son was born, they regarded him as an exceptional child. When most kids come out kicking and screaming, his son came out very calm and looked around. Later on, when he started to crawl around, he would pull one leg behind him, and his mother wondered why he was crawling in a sideways position, as he did not appear to be moving correctly. She took him to the doctor to see if something was wrong with his leg. Elijah said to the doctor, "Shot," and the doctor replied that he hadn't given him a shot. Elijah replied, "No, bang bang, like he'd been shot in the leg." Elijah would talk about things that had happened to him, but they were not normal things that toddlers his age would normally say when they fell down or got a scratch. Elijah would say, "Oh, I fell out of that aeroplane and my pillows didn't open fast." His parents would ask what pillows he was talking about, and he'd say, "The pillow's over my head." They initially told him that a pillow would not help him, but suddenly realized that the pillows he spoke about were parachutes. Elijah said, "Yes, parachutes." He would also talk about his ears ringing from explosions. Why would a 3-year-old child be talking about such things? His mother would often get upset about some of the things that her son was saying, and the bad things that happened to him. She said it was painful to watch him go through explaining them. On one occasion, the family went to a friend's house for a 4th of July celebration. As they began lighting the fireworks, his mother immediately saw the look of terror on his face. Then he suddenly yelled, "Incoming!" The whole event seemed very frightening for him. Why was someone so young going through something so traumatic? She could only hold and comfort him at that moment, but she knew that simple gesture was not going to fix what he was going through. Although there is no evidence that memories of a past life runs in the family, his father tells a story about what he went through as a small child. He said that when he was a young boy, he had recurring dreams where he was in the trenches, like it was World War I, and there were artillery shells coming all around him. Today, he still has the memories. He does not know where the images come from because they had no TV until he was about 7, so the realistic images he continued to have must have come from somewhere. Matthew believes the images were from a past life experience and were not a nightmare. Were they events of past life trying to get out? It seems that his son is going through something similar, and they needed to find out what he experienced and if there's anything they need to do to help him cope with or to help overcome it. One day his mother took Elijah to an antique store, and they found some World War II displays of different medals and other war artifacts were on display. Elijah pointed to one particular knife that had a swastika on it, and he said that he took that off a German soldier and that he had one just like it. After watching a war movie, he heard the name Peter, and it seemed to trigger a memory. He said, "My name is Peter," and he wanted her to call him Peter. He had memories of being a soldier and started to draw pictures of war. His mother felt that everything he was experiencing and saying was like a mystery waiting to be solved, and she was now wondering who Elijah could have been before he came into this life. Elijah started talking about helping children to safety and drew pictures with little figures, and he always had his gun. He was leading them, and he talked about hiding underground in caves and tree houses. His mother wanted to put everything that had happened in his short life together and started investigating and to find out where all of her son's mental images were coming from. She eventually read about underground Russian children and any similar type of words that could possibly trigger something. Suddenly, Russian partisans came up in her search, and as she searched further, she found out how Russian troops were dropped by air to help the partisans, and they came in the same type of airplane Elijah had once described to them. Many of the planes were intercepted and shot down, and had to get in and out really fast. As the picture was slowly coming together, she thought, my God, what had he experienced, and how was he able to handle it now? When Elijah was 11 years old, his mother found a book in the library, and they looked through about 200 pages. They found a story about a man that had started out as a lieutenant and was later promoted to colonel after a battle that had taken place on the border of Russia and Belarus in Eastern Europe. The battle matched something that Elijah had once described, where he had been part of the air assault, but the plane had been shot down. After surviving that, he became part of the Russian partisan movement, and his name was Colonel Petrovsky. And the second she read about this man's life, she knew it was him. It was around this time that his father, who was in the army, found that his unit was being deployed to Iraq. He had to break the bad news to his family and to talk to his wife first before discussing it with Elijah and his sister. After telling them, Elijah told him after that he needed to speak with him man to man, and he asked his mother to leave the room. As his mother was listening in the hallway, she was expecting her son to scream out, "Daddy, don't leave, Daddy. Are you coming back, Daddy? Where are you going? Will I be able to talk to you?" Instead, what she heard sounded like a veteran soldier talking to a man who was getting ready to go to war. He said, "When the bombs start falling down on you, it's okay, just get down. You'll be alright. The lower you get, the better you'll be." Matthew could never forget what his son had told him, but strangely, later on, he was in the same position of what his son had talked to him about. Immediately after arriving with his unit in Iraq, they were based in Camp Taji, and on the very first day as they were looking to see what was going on around them, all of a sudden out of nowhere there was a loud explosion, and shells landed close by. Matthew said that he just hit the ground and found that they were under attack. It was in that brief moment where he thought to himself, "My God, this is really happening." So he hit the ground fast and cupped his ears. He was laying there thinking that this was not the way to die, and as soon as the shells stopped, he will race to the nearest bunker. It was at that moment where he remembered what his son had told him shortly before he left. When the shells start falling, just get to the ground and get as low as you can. Matthew said at that moment a lot of peace came over him because he knew he was going to be okay. It was so strange that he thought to himself, was his son sent from the past to help him get through this? Was this a gift from him? There must be a reason why this has happened.